Courage and the boldness that you gain after speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephanie Hockenhall. Joining me is my co host, my son, Gene Williams.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm scared.
Kind of look spooky like with the light right here.
Yeah, it do.
Yeah.
Whatever. You don't scare me.
On camera.
What's going on, son?
All is well. I'm having a great day. How about you?
Good. I am too. Real laid back. It was too laid back earlier. I don't know what that was. Um, I was like, what the heck is going on? I was trying to get my mind together. So I got in the car and rode for a little bit and anyway, tried to get myself together. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what that be sometimes. I wasn't really feeling, I guess, lonely, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got out and rode a little bit and sat in the parking lot and ate a meal. I do that sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, just for a change of scenery.
Right.
Um,
Got you.
but I'm glad your day is going well. Mine is better now. I went to uh, we had another producer do her premiere show today.
Nice.
So I attended that. She's from Canada. And
Okay.
she did two. Yeah, she did. She's starting two of her shows. So she did her premiere on both of those shows today.
We
So
going
and
into
one is on yeah, one is on fitness. So
Awesome.
she's a runner. Yeah. So that's one of her shows. And anyway, so that was nice to attend that. It brought back memories of when we did ours. So yeah, we are at episode 78.
Wow.
We just April 3rd was our 2-year mark. That 2 years ago, April 3rd is when we started this show.
Right.
We have given so much content, had people on our show to help us, um, share that, adults experience bullying too. And they also share some of their childhood experiences.
Right.
And yeah, so it's been really something because we started out, just doing the show ourselves, which we've done most of our shows ourselves. Just putting content together and having conversations around the content. And you want to say something?
No, I was gonna say we had a lot of really dope guests that have come from different backgrounds, different experiences, entrepreneurs, and I've actually began following a lot of the people. Actually, most of the people actually. I
Oh, cool.
saw the post that you put up about Cameo Bobo yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
And obviously I pay attention to everything that Gary does and Izzy, and it's really cool. Like we've had some amazing guests this year. Learned a lot of different things. Man, just had a lot of diversity, and I mean, again, 78 shows. That is crazy. That is a crazy number. Wow.
Yeah.
We've been at this for a minute, y'all.
Right.
We're gonna pull up on
And
100 real soon on you. Listen.
right. And so to what you just said, I've invited some of those guests back. Um, and so this month, because we are celebrating 2 years of doing our show, we're bringing some of those guests back to see where they are now and what has transpired in their lives, as a result of being on our show. And, just the things what's happening with them now is the best way to
What's
say it.
happening now?
Yeah. And so they'll be helping us celebrate throughout this entire month. We'll be celebrating our 2 years. And so we'll have, like I said, some of those guests back on the show. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm trying to find this video so I can share it. So if you are here, um, you can watch us on Roku or Amazon Fire.
Yeah,
If you are watching us on, and that's on TV. If you are watching us there, or even on your app on your phone, you can watch us there. But when you go to those, go search PODTV space LIVE, and you can watch us live right now
oh yeah,
while we're doing the show.
right.
Yeah, and also you can watch us on our YouTube channels, Love Misunderstood Institute or um, Premier Fitness 0210. You can watch us on either one of those right now.
Going on right now.
um, or you can watch us on website podtv.tv. There's many places you can watch us. I'm trying to find the live so I can share it on my Facebook channel or Facebook page. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing right now. Um,
Okay.
so, like I said, we have had people on the show talking about their childhood experiences, and we've shared ours. We're going to share some right now, some of our experiences. We are going to interview each other, and so we're getting ready to share some of our experiences. As adults, as some of our bullying experiences as children.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to do that right now. I'm still trying to share this. Um, so how's your week been?
It has been hectic, and it was productive though. It was, a lot of changes. Thankfully, beautiful changes. I
Great.
told you about the contract that I'm working on with the city of Memphis, working with the community centers, the park and recreation,
Yeah.
fitness, bringing fitness to the city of Memphis. If you're watching this,
Hey, hey, watch out now. Ah, um, okay, I gotta share it on one of these. All right. Uh, who is that? What's that say? Thank you. God bless you too,
Thank you, Edna.
and thank you for being here. Um, so listen, let's get started. I can't spend time doing this because we're not giving what we are here to give.
Let me
But
go
if
ahead
you
and ask you
go,
the first question. Are you ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
Is
Let's
you ready?
let's go.
First one coming at you. Can you share a specific experience that deeply impacted you, either as a child or as an adult?
All right, what I want to share today is two different relationships I had, and they were years apart, but they were so similar. And it was two different men. And so in those relationships, I experienced, I'm going to tell you the kind of experience, bullying, types of bullying that I experienced in the relationship, and then I'll tell you about the relationship. So,
Yeah.
one early on, and I know you remember, I'm not going to say the name, but you were less than 5 years old when I was in that relationship, and it was right after, divorcing your dad. Um,
Okay.
and
I do
so
remember. I do remember.
I know you remember, and people think that kids don't remember,
Oh
just
yeah.
because they're young. People do, kids do remember. So, I experienced physical bullying, I experienced verbal bullying, social bullying, antisocial bullying, mental, emotional, direct, indirect, relational, narcissistic, impulsive, overt, and self bullying.
Lord,
And
you need to take a
so,
drink on that.
huh?
So you need to take a drink on that one.
Yeah,
Drink some
yeah.
tea. Drink a lot.
So I experienced all of those types of bullying in both of these relationships. So, and if you like a list of the different types of bullying that we have on our YouTube channel, you can uh, just type "send me a list" and then your email address, or you can send it to me in Messenger. Love Misunderstood Institute, and I'll get the message and I'll send you the list because this is only some of the types of bullying. I have found 18 different types of bullying in general, and that does not include the types of bullying in the workplace.
Right.
So with these relationships, what I experienced with the first one was I experienced a lot of pushing. In the relationship, he was very insecure. And so I couldn't, when we go around a lot of people, I couldn't look around at people, or if I did, I was accused of looking at a certain guy,
Right.
um, and so he was just insecure that way. And then so we go home away from people. And then, as soon as we get out the car, he pushed me real hard to make me fall. And then when I would fall to the ground, by the time I got up, he was right there pushing me again. And so he kept doing that, and he would always push me to the ground. So I was scared to death. I lived in fear a lot, being in a relationship with him. And that was just a horrible experience. And there were so many other things that he did. And then he had other relationships on the side. Um, and it was just horrible. Like I said, I just lived in fear a lot. And then the second relationship, I'm keep this short. But the second, which was the last relationship, the most recent relationship that I had, it was kind of similar, except for it wasn't physical until the end. And so it was physical one time, and I said, no, this is not getting ready to be a thing. So, many years later, uh, from that first relationship, going through the experiences in the second relationship, I just, me being older, said, I'm not going through that again, and you got to go. So, and he was, I'll just say this, I have to share some of his story. So he was a former Crip, uh, and he was also, I went to school with him. So
I
because he
know
was
he
in the
told me.
military, yep. So I went to school with him, and he went to the military. He was horrible in school, but he went into the military and did 20 years of, 19 years of military. And then, so I thought, and so this was years later, even after the 19 years of him doing service. So I saw him and I thought, he had changed. Well, he made me think that he had changed just enough to lure me in. And he said he didn't smoke and he didn't drink and he was going to school to be a deacon and all of this. And I believed all of that. And so got into the relationship, and none of that was true. And then not only was he a Crip, but his sons and his nephews were all Crips. And so they were packing guns all the time, and I'll just say this, and then I'll end that. So my brothers, your uncles, used to say Steph got our gangbanger, and then they would just bust out bust out laughing, but they didn't know the things that I was going through because I didn't say anything,
Right.
So anyway, that's two of my experiences, um, being bullied in relationships. So those are the two experiences that deeply impacted me as an adult.
Yeah.
And so, what about you? What can you share? What specific experience that deeply impacted you as a child or as an adult or as both?
I mean, we'd be here all day if I talk about my.
Well, just pick a couple.
Yeah. Um. So um, definitely one thing that has impacted me is actually what you were talking about, seeing you being abused um, as a kid. Um, you know, uh, I don't know. It was traumatic, and it um, I don't know. I mean, it just made me. Uh, I don't even know how to explain it. A little more protective of myself, and then I ended up going through it. So it was like the reverse. I refused to be the person to do it, but then I ended up, incurring the same thing. So yeah, those things.
Let's talk about that for a minute because
Oh
I,
Jesus,
I
it's
see
a
a cycle.
fire.
I see a cycle. So with Mama, I watched her being abused, and I said I'm not gonna go through that. And so I was in a few relationships where I was the one, and I'll just say in charge. I was, because I refused. So I got into relationships to where they were so busy trying to please me and to make me happy that they would do, whatever, to make me happy. I mean, um, so it was crazy to see Mama going through stuff, and I said I'm not gonna, and I didn't know anything about bullying then, but seeing her being physically and emotionally and mentally, abusing some of the same bullying that I experienced, she experienced, as when I was a kid, and then so I refused to go through it. So I was a little bit more, how can I say, it, more stubborn or more hard when
Right.
it came to some of my relationships. And then you, ended up, being, different. So you see the cycle,
Yeah, absolutely.
Mama, then me,
Right.
then you,
Right.
you know. And so I experienced some bullying from whoever the male was I was in a relationship with, and then in some of the other relationships, where they were more passive. That's the word I was trying to find.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting into some relationships where the man was passive, and so I was a bully, to him. Um, and then listen, I ain't scared to admit my faults. I am not perfect.
There we go.
And to those that say they are, lies,
Right.
lies, lies.
The lies you tell. The lies you tell.
Right. But that's crazy because I never even thought of it as uh, cycles. And we know there's generational cycles. When things aren't changed, they continue on to the next generation. And so I just wanted to say that, because I see, the cycle,
Yeah.
in those three generations.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I discovered that some time ago. I was like, man, this is a generational curse, and I refuse to continue it. So with the last relationship that we were talking about, we went through a time where it was it was the other side that was abusive continuously throughout the relationship. And towards the last, like maybe 5 years, about 3 years of that, I just became angry because we were living with, this person's parents, and she would triangulate against me. Basically have her family like team up on me, to try to break me down and put me in my place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, so you're walking on eggshells. You're dealing with multiple people who are intentionally trying to control and manipulate you, um, for their own good. I mean, for the good of everybody is what they say, but really it's for their good. It's what works for them.
Yeah.
What works for the image that they wanted to portray to the world. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I don't know. And then so the physical part of it stopped because we had an encounter, and she hit me, and I told her if she does it again, I'm going to hurt her, and I meant it. I was tired of her putting her hands on me. She had been doing that since I was 22,
Yeah.
and I was at that. The end of it all was, 17 years later. Um, the physical abuse had stopped, but the mental was a constant. Um, but anyway, I do want to go back and say that I was angry, and I drank a lot, and I drank heavily. I mean heavily, and would go off. Like I've been trying to have a conversation, and she cut me off and trying to defend, and I'm like, shut.
You was fed up.
I was fed. I was up here with it. I was up there with it, man, and then it became a cycle though. Conversely, that my children, they didn't get this, they didn't get to see us arguing like that. It was always they were in another room, but you could hear it. I mean, when I get loud, I get loud. I mean, I'm loud. I'm
Yeah.
outdoors.
You
And
use
my
your
voice,
outdoor voice when you get
I,
mad.
you know, I use my Hulk voice. Hulk smash. But
I don't think you the only one.
no,
I'm just saying.
I'm not. But man, I just realized that in that sense, I continued a cycle that I hated to see as a kid. I hated to hear y'all arguing and screaming at each other and stuff like that. But I, you know, repeated the same cycle. You know,
That's because it wasn't addressed and dealt with. So it just trickled down,
right,
unfortunately, you know.
right,
And hopefully, um, well, soon the cycle will change.
right,
Somebody is going to change that cycle. You
right.
know, um, it
Absolutely.
will happen.
Yeah, it is happening. It is in the process of transpiring, manifesting right now. We just got to catch up to it.
Yep, yep. Um, wow, it's something that to talk about. Seeing things transpire in your parents' relationships.
Right,
And then how you pick up, the same thing and do the same thing. You know, and it just happens. It's nothing that you have to try to do. It just happens.
right.
It just becomes a real thing.
Because it's been in your reality, so it's like almost like a part of you, you know. Unless you,
Yep.
like I said before, unless you consciously address that. Like if I had done the shadow work that I've done since the separation from my separation from my my ex-wife, goddamn, I'm gonna say it like that. Sorry, I use that. Anyway, a little GD, a little GD don't hurt nobody, okay?
I didn't even hear, so I had to go back to the
Okay,
recording and
good.
listen.
I hope nobody else heard it, man. I hope nobody else heard it. Hey, if you heard it, go back and say beep in your mind. Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, now we realize it, we see it, and we chose to change it.
Yeah.
We chose to change it by not staying in those relationships. And go ahead.
I was gonna say I actually didn't capstone that. So let's say so I went through that 3 year period where I was drinking heavily, going off, and seeing my daughter's face. I saw her crying like I mean, just tear soaked face because we were going off on each other, and I was like, I gotta do something better. Like this drinking ain't cutting it, and me going off is just not cool. I hate the way I feel when I do it. So I got into counseling, and like my therapist made I had two for two different reasons. I had one that was a mental health therapist, and I had another one who was an intimacy and sex coach to bring us back together. So both of them at separate times made me go without drinking for 90 days, like I had to. I could not touch a bottle because they, that I was like, that's my weakness. They were like, all right, you can't touch it for 90 days. In order to work with me, you got to give it up. So that's, collectively 6 months. So anyway, a lot of things transpired. I, after that, I was blessed with the tools to help me process how I was feeling about the relationship that I was in. Unfortunately, my counterpart didn't make the same moves. So from that point, I was consciously becoming a better version of myself. And like I said, she didn't want to take that journey. And so we, emotionally and mentally split ways. It was like we started going in different directions. I was determined to not be that person anymore because I hated seeing it as a kid. And we always, at times, if we're not aware, we become the monsters that we were afraid of as children. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so yeah, like I said, I did the therapy. I stayed in therapy for 3 years, consistently because I could afford it a little bit more. But um, I just was determined not to go back there. I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't raise my voice. Like I was like, look, hey, right now we're not talking. You're coming at me crazy, and I'm getting angry, and we know where that goes. So let's both calm down and talk later when we're both at a chill space. So anyway, the cycle was coming back. The person wanted to start putting their hands on me again. I was like, I'm not going back there. You, a person walk up to you with their hands like this, like they're about to choke you. I'm like, you better back up right now.
I'm laughing
Is
because
this starting out? I'm like,
oh,
and put my headphones back on and was staring at her like, move, get out of here.
right.
And like, I'm telling you, I told you what it is. I don't hit people. I mean, I know what these things do. So, I'm not about putting my hands on people unless it's like sanctioned over boxing and this is what and you signed a waiver and you know, you know. But
Well, I was laughing because of the way you did that, um, and I know how that feels when somebody comes at you like that, and then to freeze. I can just visualize it, her freezing when you say you better back up. When you change your tone. Listen, first of all, when you get that courage to
yes,
stand up and to use your voice
man.
and that confidence behind it,
Yep,
boy, ain't nothing like it. I'm
right.
telling you.
Yep. Put
It
that hope voice on them. You better back up. This nigga done lost his mind. You right. You about to F around and find out.
But it's a shame how people push you and push you and push you and
Right.
do mean and evil and hateful stuff to you for long periods of time, and they take your as they say, your kindness for weakness. And
Right.
that's not really a kindness, it's just your vulnerability. You know, they weak. They ain't gonna do nothing. They can't do nothing. So I can do this to them forever. The devil is a lie.
You know,
You can't and you ain't. And so it's time out.
time
Time
out for the
out.
bullshit. Time out for the bullshit.
Yeah. So, I'm glad that we,
Mhm.
wow.
Great commercial. What was that? What was that? Man, that's why I watch commercials.
Oh my goodness. Uh,
Oh my god.
I'm
What did you
lost.
do? You said what?
Um, I said I'm lost. Um, so anyway, I think I was, did you want to say something?
No, you go ahead with your question. Or what you just saying?
So, how did those experiences shape your perception of yourself
Yeah. And your relationship.
and your relationship?
Right. So one thing I can say for sure, just the abuse itself, it two things. It made me realize that I have a lot of anger that I have to channel. You know, um, I have to consciously not be on guard all the time. I have to make myself relax and open up. Uh, because of fear of being misused and
Yeah,
controlled and manipulated again. You know,
yeah,
so I'm forever vigilant. Like what, what, what? No, you know, and I don't want to. So like I said, I have to consciously make myself relax, allow myself to be vulnerable. The early parts of my current relationship, which is the best I've ever been in, thankfully, um, it was tough for me to trust uh, because of what I came from, and like any little thing that felt like manipulation, or anything like that, I'm hey, hey, I told you. Oh man. But I mean, it's a fact, though. I know the voice was funny. That's why I added that in there. But no, yeah, and it really took her patience to help me realize I don't have to be like that. I become like that with people who were friends with me. Just you know, people were talking trash and leaving and all of that stuff, and back, riding with who, and I'm just like, I don't trust nobody no more. I don't trust nobody.
yeah,
So yeah, and so it took a while, and like I said, thankfully she's patient and she understands, and she reminds me of tools that I have, and, you know, and she gives me space, and I appreciate that because sometimes I just need to be alone to
yeah.
gather myself. I don't want to cry in front of you right now. I don't want to cry. Go, get out of here right now.
You so doggone silly. Well, it definitely makes a difference when you have somebody, that's more understanding,
Right,
somebody that's not trying to make you do something,
right.
or make you be a certain person. All of that stuff, you know, um, creates hell in a relationship. I'm just gonna say it. It does. Ain't nothing heavenly about none of that. And
I'm gonna
so
stand on now.
when it comes to so it's great that you're in a relationship where she understands, and when you say back off, she gives you that space. You may not say those words, but I mean, when people understand you, and understand that you need space, that you need time, that you need love, you need whatever it is you need. When they understand that and give that to you,
Right.
that has to be valued because it's so important and it helps you, to trust that person. you
Right.
know um and when you're in a place where you have a hard time trusting people in a relationship, no matter what kind of relationship it is, it doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. It can be, a working relationship, a friendship, whatever that relationship is, when you can trust each other and help each other, that's, you know, huge, and it's helpful, because then it keeps you from, doing outbursts, and from being angry. It helps change both of you in the relationship. Like I said, no matter what kind of relationship is, it can help both of you. You're giving me my space. This is the love that I need right now to just, give me time, or this is the love that I need right now. I need a hug, or I need a kiss, or I just need you to put your hand on my leg or on my arm, just touch me,
Right.
So it's, part of that is about understanding each other's love language
Right. That was,
too.
yep. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when it comes to experiences shaping my perception of myself and my relationships, those experiences that I share, excuse me, those experiences uh, help me to have a low self esteem. I already had a low self esteem because of things, I experienced, um, at home, you know, uh, with, because I was a person, you already know this, but I was a person that cried all the time. And it was because I desired certain things to be, happening in my life. And it's all about going back to this. It's all about understanding someone's love language.
Right.
And so my love language was not understood. And so I cried a lot because I wasn't getting what I needed. Um, but when you don't understand each other's love language, that's what happens. So I'm not putting anybody down. That's just the way it was. And so I had a low self esteem. I had low confidence uh, level of, and then I had lack of courage. And those are just a few things. So I didn't have the courage to speak up and to use my voice like you shared in your stories, or in your experience where you finally, started creating boundaries. Look, I don't like how I am. I don't like how what I've become. So this has to change. So you knew and understood that what this situation having to change and you needing to change to become a better person because you didn't like the outcome of what you were seeing with what was happening. You started creating boundaries,
Right.
and I didn't know for many, many years, how to do that, how to create boundaries because I was so stuck on um, not making people unhappy, not making people sad. Then it went from that to I'm not going to let nobody run over me. I'm not going to let nobody just treat me any kind of way. So then that's when I started, because I became more aggressive, then I started attracting passive men. Um, and attracting those passive men, then I was the aggressor. And then when I wasn't in, um, when they were the aggressor and I was the passive one. So I started out one way, being
Right.
passive, then to aggressive, then I went back to passive. And so I just never could find that balance in a relationship. Um, to receive love and to give love, which is part of why this show is called Where is the Love? And then part of why our nonprofit organization is called Love Misunderstood Institute, because all of the things that we're talking about and that we're sharing is because love is misunderstood. Where is it? It's misunderstood when it's not, when you're not getting treated kind, when you're not, I'm looking at love, when you're not being humble, towards each other, you're not being meek and gentle, you're not being patient, in the relationship, you're not forgiving each other, when we say and do things to each other to hurt each other, um, calm and peaceful, all of that stuff is love,
Right.
real love for one another. And when we don't have that, it's not real love. It's misunderstood. Where is it? It's nowhere to be found in that relationship when we're not doing that.
Right.
So, real love is unselfish. It's, showing concern for one another. It's joy. It's patient. It's being good to others. It's being faithful. Having self control. Um, that stuff is real love. Uh, what does it say? Can't see it.
Me?
Gentle has no sense at all.
Me?
Jean has no sense at all. Oh, don't talk about my child like that.
Listen, I'm cool with it. I'm, sometimes you gotta be crazy.
And you know what? I am so thankful that we are able to laugh a lot now and that we are much happier, and that we are now able to speak up for ourselves and that we are now able to create boundaries and, and also realize when we're treating somebody bad and, hey, wait a minute, whoa, this is not how I want to be, and I know I shouldn't be treating them like that. And so we, correct our steps, correct our actions,
Make
you
amends.
know, yes. Um, and so we've learned from those things. And so the next question is, have you ever felt hesitant to speak up or set boundaries due to past experiences, which
Yeah,
is what we're
absolutely.
talking about right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. And so all the crying that I used to do, I don't do that no more. I think about, okay, this situation is upsetting me or bothering me. And I know I have a choice right now. I'm at the crossroad. Either I can, speak up about this situation or, huh?
Meet me at the crossroads, crossroads, crossroads. Sorry.
So I know that I either gotta speak up or I'm gonna go home and cry or go away and cry, and I'd be like, nope, that is not an option. I did that for many years. I'm not doing that no more. So, I just pray and I just say, Lord, help me speak up. And so I just speak up, and I don't, and this is, people have told me, dang, when you tell people, when you tell people what you need to tell them, is I can't remember exactly how they say it, but it's in love, which is a way that I prayed that it would happen. It's um, it's it is in love, but I mean I say exactly what I need to say, so I'm not.
We see you, Mark.
So I don't try to hold back. I say stuff that needs to be said, but I watch my tone and how I say it. But I don't mean I don't even think about the stuff. It just comes natural. It's like, now that ain't. Why would you do that? And when you say something like that to somebody, then it gets them to thinking, oh, well, you already knew that wasn't right, so why would you? And I
Yeah.
don't have to say all of that, but that's how how it comes out. and I want to. Well, I better not go there. Never
Hmm.
mind.
Leave that alone. Leave that there alone.
Yeah. So, you want to ask me a question?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say. So, what strategies have you found helpful in dealing with the emotional aftermath of bullying and a lack of love?
So, what I have found helpful is a number of things. Different kinds of music is helpful for me, even if it's or sounds, even if it's running water and chirping birds. That is very helpful to me in dealing with my emotional, aftermath of bullying and lack of love. That's just one thing. Journaling is another thing. Reading my Bible or just going back, viewing something that I studied, in the Bible, because I write down, I take notes, when I'm studying the Bible. So sometimes I'm reminded of something that I wrote down. And so I'll go back and get my notes and read over the notes. I pray a lot uh, and often. That's what keeps me sane. And then, knowing that I have a choice in everything that's happening. If it's something that I don't like or something that I disagree with, then I know I have a choice. How is this making me feel? If it's making me feel bad, then that's a road that I don't have to go down. I can make a choice and choose another road. And I may not know, and most of the time you don't, know what's going to happen on that other road, but you just know where you currently are is not good. So I do a number of things like that: music, listening to nature sounds, journaling. Uh, Sometimes I read, or I'll find something on TV to watch, which I'm not a big, I mean, the TV can be off all day and I don't have to have no music on or nothing. So just silence is
Mm,
great for me.
I got you.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you?
So I'm gonna say the three M's of life for me, and this one of them probably gonna get me in trouble by you, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Um, you ready? You ready? All right.
Yeah, I got my brakes on. I got my seatbelt on.
Right. Yeah. Buckle up now. No. So for me, it's movement, music, and Mary Jane. I love you, Mary Jane. Anyway, so
Mary Jane.
I love you just the
Oh
same.
my goodness. I remember when that song came out, I was
Yeah,
a teenager and we were in Kansas City
right.
for the summer when they
That's
came out.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
every time I hear that song or think about that song, that's what I think about.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people uh, have, um, have that prescribed, as
Right.
medication. And I mean, here in Kansas, in Missouri, it's legal. Well, I'm not in Missouri, but I'm close to Missouri. But in Missouri, it's legal.
Right.
They can, ride with so many, pounds or ounces,
Hey.
in their car. They grow it and sell it, So, yeah.
Glory, glory,
So it's
hallelujah.
not like that in Kansas yet, but, it's been like that in Missouri for over a year.
Man,
Yeah. And people
need
have
to take a
stores
road
where they
trip.
grow it. But anyway, so people have it for different reasons, pain and just time to relax. And I remember being in a relationship where he had to have it, and when he didn't, he was just crazy. And so, one day I told, my brothers, get him some so he can calm his behind down. But anyway, so go ahead and talk about your three things.
All right. So for me, the movement, exercise, yoga, lifting weights. Yoga is particularly good for me to help me process like anger and frustration because not only is it the movement, but the consciousness of each movement being done to the breath. And then when you do it like that, it turns into a moving meditation. And it just, for me, it just, once my body is open and my lungs are open, it's like, man, like whatever it was I was mad about before, then after that, I may sit down and journal for a minute or write the lyrics for a song or start playing on my guitar or, you know, and Mary Jane is self-explanatory. She helps with all of that, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I take a little talk before I practice yoga. Helps my muscles get a little loose, so I ain't gonna be tense when I do it. And before I make music, same thing. Puff, puff. Hmm. Look at this fool. Can you see her?
No.
She will not get her big head down. Calm down, girl. Shoot. Bella's trying to make an appearance, y'all.
Um, so let's give them the empowerment tips
Right.
because we're almost out of time. So you want to read that because I think I've done most of the talking this
All right, baby.
time.
Go, go. Enough, enough. All right, I got you. All right, so empowerment tips. First, validate their experiences and emotions without judgment. Encourage self compassion and remind them of their resilience. Offer resources or suggestions for professional help if needed. Goodness, got a little tongue tied there. Um, the inspiring statements are your strength in facing adversity is truly remarkable. Remember,
Put that up again, Mark. I'm sorry, Gene. Go ahead.
Lord,
Go ahead.
your, your strength in facing adversity is truly remarkable. Remember, setting boundaries is an act of self love and self respect. I'm going to say that one more
Yes.
time for the people in the
Yes.
back. You listening, hear ye, hear ye. Remember, setting boundaries is an act of self love and self respect.
Yes.
Man, when I learned that and had to stand on it, like at first it was a little nerve wracking. Like, is it gonna work? You know what I mean? But after a while, it's like,
Yeah.
man, listen. I'm not trying to, you know, tell you who to be. I'm just gonna tell. I'm telling you who you can be with me. That don't
Yep.
work. And
Yep.
either we can, you know, be adaptable and maybe switch it up a little bit, or I can get out, it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, it didn't go quite like that, but close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. um, your voice. Oh man, your voice matters, and speaking up can inspire positive change. You
Yes.
gotta speak up for yourself. It's not
Yes.
cool to just sit back and allow. I've been here. I've been here. It's not cool to sit back and allow yourself to be someone's punching bag so that they
Right.
can be appeased while you are being tortured.
Yep.
You owe it to yourself and anyone that you love. But first and foremost, the person that you see in the mirror every single day, the person that you rise and sleep with at all times. You have to look out for yourself. You have to speak up for yourself.
Yep.
Regardless if they like it or not, it don't matter. Hey, hard pass. hard pass. Cut that out. This don't work. Let's do this. As long as it's not disrespectful to the person, as in like you're trying to make them be or do something that they don't want to do. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
in the case of a situation where I tell you that you can't talk to me like that and you want to continue, then that means you get to go this way and I go that way, and we don't have to
Right.
conform. Understand the hand
Right.
signal that I'm doing for you right now?
It looked like you showing an airplane which way to go.
uh, uh, I've been watching too much Martin lately. I'm sorry, y'all.
So, lastly, uh, before we end our show, we want to let you know by creating a safe space for open dialogue and offering support, we can empower individuals to embrace their experiences and take proactive steps towards healing and growth. Healing and growth is important to overcome those that we've been stuck in and put in that were unpleasant to us. We don't have to be there. That's not real love.
Right.
So, and we shared what real love is throughout this show. So, thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for joining us on our show. Take care, and we will see you next Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here, wherever you're watching us at. Take care, and bye for now. Peace, peace, and love.
And love is unconditional.
The police took another life. Gunshots rang out, even though he had his hands held high. Yo, I'm sick and tired of walk my brother's short lines. Need to come together, set a plan, and then mobilize. Oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about all the hell that we're going through? Now stand up, shout out into the walls of Babel on the feet. Stand up, come on y'all, and let's make some history. Stand up, rise up and know you ain't gotta follow, you can lead. Stand up y'all, we can do this, you and me. Monsanto monopolized the whole grocery line. So we all gon' have 12 toes, 3 thumbs, 3 lives. If we keep in sheep, these wolves are gon' rob us blind. Let's occupy our mind space, cause the revolution won't be televised. Oh, what are we gon' do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about all the hell that we're going through? Now stand up, shout out into the walls of Babel on the feet. Stand up, y'all, we can do this, you and me. Stand up, rise up and know you ain't gotta follow, you can lead. Stand up, y'all, we can do this, you and me. Oh, mercy, mercy me. The government should nurture empathy. When will all these wars be done? Hopefully before another moment has the money. Yeah. Before another mother has the one person. Shout out into the walls of Babel on the feet. Stand up, come on y'all, and let's make some history. Stand up, rise up and know you ain't gotta follow, you can lead. Stand up y'all, we can do this, you now. We ain't guilty.